hopefully I'm still connected to. Don't look like I'm connected to the VPN, so I'm gonna do that maybe first. Because otherwise I can't reach the blog. Because I am working from home today. Don't think they paid for the license in time, so that was dumb. But yeah, it seems to be working now. It just took them a while. I'm gonna send them push notifications. All right, here we go. Yes, it's me. Okay, so now it should connect to the VPN. And that means I can access the blog. The blog is already open because I loaded it before, but I know if I'm gonna refresh, it's gonna break down because I'm not connected to the VPN. Also don't know why it locks me out every hour, but it is what it is. Okay, so I should be connected now. So we have the existing blog, beaches.com/blog. Let me move this a little bit here. Then we have the new blog in staging, which has like a better structure, looks a little bit more modern. I don't really like this picture. It makes Jamaica look a little bit like a township, maybe. But it has the same header, etc. So this is the new blog, how it looks now. Obviously, we're gonna make it look good before we're launching. And then tied to that, we have Strapi. So we have all the blog posts. I'm gonna give that a second to load. So this is the new CMS, the new Ghost. We have 152 articles in here. Now one of them moved to sandals. I have selected English here, so that means like all these blog articles should be available on the US blog. If I select English Great Britain, then you will see the English blog. Now, but these are the US blog articles. There are 152 of them. I think the first, I'm just immediately thinking like, okay, what needs to be done to like abandon this blog and to switch to this blog? Obviously, all blog articles need to have been transferred over. They need to look good. Internal linking need to be properly, like the page title, meta description, internal linking, the header structure, everything needs to be there. So I guess the first step is to find out. Our first mission here is to find out if all the blog articles were actually transferred over. So probably the best way to do that is, at first I thought Screaming Frog, like just get a list of all the existing blog posts, then get a list of all the blog posts that are in here. I'm probably gonna ask Paula to pull a list of like the ones that are in here. There must be a way to export it, but I don't know, but she can probably help us with that. And then compare it to the list of the blog articles we have. We can use Screaming Frog for that. And I will show you a little bit of a trick here as well. So I'm just going to clear this. So normally when you go into Screaming Frog, you just turn on the spider and it goes from beaches.com and it's going to crawl all the pages. But I'm only interested in blog pages. So I can go to configuration, spider, and then I guess advanced for some advanced spider settings. Let me see. There must be, so might be. No, it's definitely under spider. Maybe under crawl. I'm looking for maybe preferences. I don't know. I found it before, but I'm looking for a place where you can only crawl certain pages, only block pages, basically. Yeah. I don't know, maybe it's custom. It's custom search, so you can extract certain things like headers, or like I can look for dollar signs on the British website to make sure there's no dollar signs there, but it's all like pound signs, so that's useful. But this content preference should be advanced. It's funny because I can't find it anymore. I had it before. Also don't know why this looks like half not there. There's something happening there. Um, limit by URL path. So that might be interesting. Where do you see include? Ah, um, oh, yeah, this is it. All right, perfect. Well done. So include, we're gonna include any article with the block in there, with a slash block in there, and then you can just press OK, and then you crawl. Now this URL doesn't have block in it, so it's gonna not skip the home page. But other than that, it should only crawl slash block. So yeah, you're right, it's include. And then it should only give you a list of like all the blog pages. The problem with Screaming Frog and like crawling in general is that it clicks from link to link to link. So any link that's a little bit hidden or that the crawler cannot find is not going to show up here. So it's not the cleanest way to get all your pages for instance, the blog session. Then the other problem is like we have like page 2 here, we have like category pages like our resorts or celebrations, which are not blog articles. The way to filter that out though is like if you scroll, by the way, I did select HTML here, so we don't see any block images or anything, just the pages. But if you scroll all the way to the right, you can see the word count. So there's probably a difference between word count for category pages and blog pages. So it's gonna sort it by word count. And that's probably gonna be all the blog articles gonna be on top because they will have the most words. But I do see here still, these are probably actually all category pages. So that's nice. There's definitely a split here. So then I can just extract the top ones and those should be all blog articles. But probably a better way of doing this to getting this list is go to the sitemap. Duplicate this. I'm going to go to robots.txt. So this is the block sitemap. So sitemap posts, that's the sitemap for all the blog posts. I'm going to click on that. And here I have a very nice clean list, 161 in total. So that's already one alarm bell. Well, it's not a big alarm bell, but we only have 151 blog articles in Strapi. So there's 10 missing because we have 152 entries and this one is moved to Sandal, so 151 in current Strapi. But here in Ghost, we have 161 in total. That doesn't have to be a disaster, but it can be because if it's our top 10 blog articles, that's not going to be good. So you kind of want to know what's missing. So you kind of want to extract this. You can just probably copy paste it. And you can ask ChatGPT, for instance, you can probably paste this in like a Google Sheet, or you can ask ChatGPT extract all like the URLs. So it ignores the date, it ignores this is not images, this is just number one. It probably says like whether it has images or not, yes or no. But we only want to have the list of URLs. So then we have the list of URLs of our current blog, and then we need to kind of find a way to extract the list of URLs that are on here. I don't know if we can extract that in an easy way, maybe like a cogwheel, but doesn't look like it. So this is something I would ask Paula to pull that list for you. So I guess step number one is to see if all the blog articles that are on the Ghost are now in Strapi. So that's kind of like number one mission. So go chase that. and ask Paula for that list that is in Strapi. And then you pull that list from the sitemap, and then you compare the two. The way you can compare it in Google Sheets is by using VLOOKUP. I don't know if you've used VLOOKUP before. Vertical lookups to try to figure out how to do that, but you can always ask ChatGPT as well, like to say like, hey, I have two lists of URLs. I want to find out if there's any URL missing in list B that is visible in list A. Give me like an Excel formula and it will explain to you like how to work that out. So that's, and otherwise I will help you out there. So that's kind of mission number one. And if we figure that out, and let's say all the blog articles are in here, great. Now we need to find out whether they look good. Do they have the same URL? First of all, do they have the same heading structure, page title, meta description? So we're going to check a few, and I'm going to check all of them. And then we're going to kind of write out the work that needs to be done. So the comparison needs to become for that before we setting up the process. So that's something you're going to figure out yourself before you set out the process. Then the next step is to find out like, okay, we have 10 fun vacation IDs for families with toddlers. I'm gonna click on that. So this is the URL. So if I go here, Strapi block in staging, should be able to paste this. Have to remove the double slash trailers slashing trailer here. And then this should show that blog article because it is in the CMS, should be also in the blog itself. And here we go, perfect. So that's a good sign. And I also want to find out the blog article here to compare the two. Again, this is the current blog. Okay, that's great. We can see pictures missing here, but that's because we didn't do the picture refresh. My main concern right now, obviously this doesn't look good because there's pictures missing, but my main concern is that when we go from ghosts to Strapi, that we're not making things worse. We're just like, it needs to be the same and then we can improve in Strapi. But our first mission is just like, make all the blog articles that are in Ghost, make sure they're available in the new blog so we can switch over. Then we can talk about improving it later. So I can see the same image here, that's great. There's obviously images missing, but they're also missing here, so I'm not worried about that. It's actually, we have some chicken images here. Raised. Okay, so I'm gonna see if those same images are in here as well. I think there's an image that needs to load in. Here we go, it's there. So someone already worked on those images. So that's one of the things we need to find out because not all these blog articles already have images put in there. So one of the tasks that each of us needs to do when we go through these blog articles 101 is do the image check. So basically making sure that the same images that are on the Ghost blog are also in the Strapi blog. So that's can be step one, but it's definitely one of the steps to check the images. Then the next kind of thing is we need to check whether the page title is the same. 10 fun vacation IDs for families with toddlers. It's the same, but it's missing sandals. It's missing our brand beaches, missing the dash beaches at the end. So we need to check page titles. In this case, we need to change the page title because it's not the same. The page title I can find here. As you can see, it's missing that dash beaches at the end. So we need to add the dash beaches. So the next one would probably be page title and meta description comparison. That's one of the other steps we need to do. We're going to add that all to the sheet. Then the next thing we want to check is header structure. So I'm just going to look. Luckily, we did a whole knowledge session on that just now. Just a view document outline. Just going to look at the headers. Okay, this is not ideal, but I'm not worried about improving this now. I want it to be the same header. So we have the H1 here and a ton of H2s. this is structured pretty well, except for this. And I'm gonna do the same here. Document outline. Not too worried about this. I think this is structured properly, but I know for some blog articles, it is not going to be structured properly because these headers like need to be marked up as H2s in here. And we can probably do that in the editor. You can probably choose the heading here somehow. Font family, font size. This is a paragraph, so yeah, you have to select the heading here underneath the P. This is an H2, so you can select the headings here in the editor. But that would be like one of the tasks as well for every blog article. Make sure the headers are properly aligned. So this should be an H2. In this case, it is, because we can find it here, like vacation ID number 1. But for some articles, this might not be the case. So checking the headers is the next thing that we need to do when we go in a blog article. So we have right now, we check the URL, check the page title, meta description, check the images, check the header structure. So we already have 4 steps of things we need to check there that all need to be part of the sheet. What else can go wrong? I think the canonical tag is important that we get that right as well. This is probably correct everywhere, but I'm just gonna check if there's like page title, description, canonical URL is blank is fine. I don't think we need to do checks here. This is probably already blank for all of them. Ideally, like have self-referencing, but it might be doing that automatically. I'm gonna look into the code. So again, I'm gonna click Ctrl U. Just gonna check on the canonical tag whether it's there. It's loading a little bit slow because it's a staging website. I think apart from that, I cannot really think of canonical. This is weird though. It has like a -1 here. That's not the same. So that means like the original URL cannot be indexed because it has a 1 at the end. And I don't think it has a 1 at the end here. So this is a fix probably that needs to be fixed on the code level. It's probably going to be outside of the project. But this is something we also need to ask Paula to do, to look at the canonical tag, say like, hey, the canonical tag has a -1 at the end. It shouldn't have a -1 at the end. It should be the same as the URL of the article. So it's something that needs to be fixed by the developers, but it's not going to be part of us like improving the blog article. So add that to the list as well to ask Paula to fix that for you. So I think we got a list of tasks now. Other than that, I'm not really worried about anything. Ideally, at the end of the blog article, we would have the resort cards already, but we don't have them currently, so also I'm not really worried about it as part of this project. Then we don't have recommended articles, so we definitely need to ask like Paula as well, like, how do I add recommended articles at the bottom? Because we do have those here. Actually don't have them. That's interesting. Okay, so in that case, I'm not too worried about it because we don't have them on beaches.com. And we don't have any recommended further reading. So if we leave that out in Strapi, it's something we can fix later. We don't have to do that right now. So just leave that out for now. So then when we make the sheet, we take the blog refresh sheet as an example. These are kind of the steps, like check images, check page title, meta description, etc., etc. Then we need all the blocks here. I don't think we necessarily need statistics for this one because we need to just transfer over all the blog articles. This is kind of the timeline. which I would add as a column, and then the name who's responsible. And again, there should be like an approved. I think I do want to do like spot checks. I'm probably not going to check every blog article by hand, but I want to do spot checks at the end just to make sure that everyone is checking and not making any errors by accident. But I think the sheet looks very much like this, like the blog article, when we're going to do it, who's going to do it, what we're going to do, and whether it was approved at the end. So the sheet serves two purposes. One, to divide the work. Two, to hold everyone accountable that they're doing their bit. Three, if something goes wrong, some blog post is incredibly messed up, we're not using the right images, they're upside down or whatever, everything is broken. Internal links are broken. I think this probably we should be checked as well, like just check the internal links are the same. So the internal link should be one of the steps on the sheet as well. If everything is messed up, we know like who worked on it, and we can work on like basically improving it. Because this person might, and it's not to finger point, it's just this person might not have understood the assignment. They might not have understood like how to check for headers or like how to check for internal links. So then if you see that consistently going wrong under one name, like then, okay, we need to work through that. And then ideally, we're going to have around 150 pages, between 150, 160, depending on your findings. Then the next step is to look at like, okay, when do I want this to be finished? I probably want this project not to take any longer. Since we're passing all block activity, there's a bit of a rush to it, like we need to prioritize it. I would say like this should definitely not take us. Ideally, we finish this within 2 weeks. The maximum it should take us to get this ready is 3 weeks, like definitely not longer. So then divide those number of blog articles by the number of people. We're going to be, in this case, you're going to form your team. But in this case, your team is going to be you, Roberto, myself, and Kyra. So there's 4 people working on this. Let's say we have 160 blog posts. Everyone is responsible to do 40 blog posts. Now, when you're kicking off a project like this, it's always important to understand how long it takes to actually do the work. So what I normally do is like, I do the work for like 5 blog articles. And then I measure the time, how much it takes me, literally with the stopwatch. I'm not going to rush, I'm not going to race, because I want to know like how long it takes for like someone normally working on it, not like stressing out, because that's not in the long term, that just doesn't work out. Then I'm going to take the average, like, okay, on average takes a blog post for me takes 1 hour. We all have, oh, sorry. We all have 40 articles to do. So let's say it takes 1 hour to make a blog article completely ready on average, which I think is on the longer side. It's probably more like 30 minutes, but let's say it's 1 hour, and we have 40 hours of work cut out for us. I think, like, realistically speaking, this is a high priority project. I would say like not more than 3 hours a day, because after that it will be like a little bit crazy. So if it takes 1 hour, we can do 3 a day, divided by 40. It would take us 13 days, which is kind of like 3 weeks, 3 working weeks. It's kind of acceptable, but we can probably do like one every half hour. But it's time kind of trying to figure out like, can we do this in 2 weeks with not spending more than a half days of work each? If not, then you're gonna say like, you're gonna get back to me and say like, I know you want it in 2 weeks, but I think it would take us like 8 hours every day of doing this stuff. I think we should spread it out over 3 weeks. That's fine. Then we negotiate and like we say like, let's land this project in 3 weeks, and then you make the timeline based on that. If we're gonna do it in 3 weeks, each has 40 articles. That means around 13 articles a person every week, which I think is very doable. Then everybody needs to update their sheets, and we need to hold everyone accountable at the end of the week that everyone is doing their work. Also, when you're doing those 5 test block articles in the end, you're going to find like, oh, this was difficult. Oh, this didn't turn out as expected. That means you can better then explain it to the team, like how it really works. Like the canonical tag, you can find it here. Internal link, this is how I checked it. Images, I found a fast way to do it. Like this how I do it. So basically, once you have created the sheet, you're gonna create like a kickoff session, like an hour where you explain how the sheet works, how each steps worked, and you actually share your screen and you do an example of tackling one blog post. Not the entire blog post because that will be a very long session, but just show them how to replace one image, how to place one internal link. Then when everybody understands how all these steps work, then from there on, it's just like go time. And then people will have questions like, hey, I found this looks really weird. What should I do with it? And maybe we add it to the sheet, maybe we change process, or you say like, well, ignore that for now. That's also fine. Then hopefully at the end of those 2 or 3 weeks, all the work is done, all the blocks look amazing, and we can go live. So there's probably one last task at the end, which is like making like the whole block look great. So they're all in the right categories, which would probably also, oh, I didn't want that. Categories should also be part of like the check, whether it is in the right category. This one is in family, 10 fun vacations, ideas. This one is in family as well, so I'm happy with that. So category check can be a quick check, but should also be part of it. Because what I don't want to end up with a whole bunch of like empty categories here. People click on this, they go to family, and there's no blog articles in it. Once we have done all those steps, then I want to have the prettiest blog post here in the banner. The like the blog post with the most traffic gonna go on the most popular. We're gonna populate this. We're gonna make this all look pretty. But the first step is to get all the blog articles transferred over, and that's where we're gonna use the sheet. And from there on, it's like less repetitive work. So in that case, we wouldn't use the sheet. We just work on it together. Does that all make sense? All right, good, good, good. Yeah, I saw your writing, so that's good news. If you have questions later on, let me know. But yeah, try to lead this project, and any project, almost any project, you can break it down like this. If it's repetitive, it means like you want to get lots of people involved so you can get it done quickly. And there needs to be a process from step 1 to step 6, and everything needs to be clear. And you're gonna have a kickoff meeting. If it's not repetitive, it's probably more difficult. But projects like these, yeah, always ask for a process and a sheet. So you look at the challenge, you break it down in steps. How do we get from A to B? And then you assemble the team and the timeline, and then the kickoff meeting, and then it's just doing things. So that's basically like how we would do it. It's kind of similar what you're doing with the content calendar, to be fair. Well, that one is like more for the long run, and this is hopefully one and done. But yeah, go at it. And let me know if you have questions, and keep me in a loop when it comes to your process. I do like to kick this process off, like do the kickoff call no later than Tuesday next week if possible. If we can do the kickoff call even this week would be amazing, but we are having a public holiday on Friday and Monday. So maybe it's not ideal, because if we do the kickoff call on Thursday, by the time we get to Tuesday, everybody already forgot what they need to do. So maybe Tuesday is the perfect day to do the kickoff call. But that means like the sheet needs to be ready in tip-top shape. You have to figure out how much time it costs, etc. Yeah, you have done your 5 test blocks. You have measured the time. You have a timeline in mind, etc. So there's still quite a bit of work to be done before we get there. But then hopefully after that we can pump it out in 2 weeks, if not 3 weeks. All right. May the force be with you, and good luck. All right. Cheers, Jonathan.